All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to the strategy meeting today. We're just gonna start off with a brief overview. So we know that we're working with OTTO, which is the artificial intelligence tool used for automated sales outreach. And currently the CEOs are faced with three options, which is the first is a buyout, the second is to focus more on their business to business, and the third is to focus more on the financial sector. So with those options in mind, we want to see how to best move forward and tackle their main objective, which is to find the best path forward for OTTO with having stable growth and stability, keeping in mind that the CEOs don't really have at the forefront of their objectives to become billionaires or whatnot. They really just want to have a stable product that they can then sell. So we're gonna start off with the VP of Finance to kind of give us an overview of what they're currently doing in terms of their finances. You can go ahead with that, Emmanuel.
All right, thank you everyone. There isn't much to the finance of OTTO. As you well know, they started with about just $20,000 in terms of savings, and they're still a very small company with big projections. In terms of the sales roundup as of August 2023, cost per call connection rates were as low as $1.50, and then sales roundup with OTTO was about $1.50, about 17% basically. So from 10% to about 17%. Cost per meeting in caller time was about $350, and the sales roundup with OTTO was about $141.21. So by this, you know that OTTO has clear evidence in saving costs in terms of reaching out and marketing to doing specific marketing to customers of potential clients, basically. So that's all they said. So not so much about their finances. I believe from the story and the case, OTTO has been able to prove itself based on the B2B partnerships that they have had, that it's more profitable and more efficient to use OTTO for marketing and to reach clients specifically. You get more return calls, more engagements, and it costs them less because, of course, it's AI driven and it's more specific using algorithm, of course, which is OTTO, to specifically target those clients, make references to personalized information and things of interest from either their LinkedIn pages and all of that. That's where, of course, the AI comes in. And by being so specific and so personal, they're able to respond. So you see, it costs less because you're not having so many people to think around that, and then the team can be deployed to doing other things and setting up meetings and closing the deals, as it were. So it's that simple. Yeah,
go ahead.
So can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, very candid points. Yes, but this is less expensive. Yeah, but as the CTO, I realized that like striking a balance in between getting automation and personalized messages has been like a very challenging task for us, because even initially the test groups that we used to to test the auto generated messages said, oh no, they wanted personalized messages and all of that. So having to cater to a lot of customers, and having to cater to a lot of customers, and personalizing each messages has been like a challenging task. But if you are saying this is like less expensive, I think we could find how to streamline the process. Yeah, because the process itself is very challenging. The process of delivering a personalized messages is very challenging. But yeah, you were saying
Okay,
it.
go on.
Yes. Okay.
No, go
You
on.
bring up a point that I want to open up the floor to everyone. One of the
Okay.
main problems here is scalability, right? So,
Yeah.
how do you guys propose we tackle that issue?
Mm-hmm. That's what I was like asking him. Like me, I'm thinking about like the financial capacity. Do you think we can?
So I think so. Mostly for most technology-driven businesses, the initial setup is where the issue is. Like I think, and this is seen in their B2B. Like, should we just do this step by step and build it as we go? Of course, it's going to take time. The potential is there. It's easier. Most people are excited about it because it takes away all of that work after you set it up. You know, so but you need the manpower to be able to get the information
first.
to set it up, and then you just build it from there. But I also believe with the increased knowledge and capacity of AI to be able to source data online, that may also be, there's a very good prospect that it's going to be easier. You may not need as many manpower to be able to put all that information together. So there is infinite possibility with this, and that's why of course there are people who are also interested in offering in the hundreds of tens of millions to buy it, because it's truly a game changer. That is established. We just know in terms of the scalability, do you want to be fast, and that will require money, because the more the machines learn, the better they get in terms of efficiency. So I think that is at the core of this.
So what I would like say in response to this is that we are actually fine with using AI, but I like AI would use previous interactions to be able to like source for what to say and all of that. So I think eventually we will have to tend to AI, because the manpower involved in the personalized messages is like okay.
Yeah, so like you said, it's not well right now. There's no going back, because of course the results with all of the business is done has shown more efficiency, and of course even with eventually working with smaller workforce, because the AI would have handled a couple of other things that you need more marketers to do. So there is no, now the issue is this good based on replication and copying? It's not very easy to copy, because of course you need to train. So it's a very potential business. It's scalable. It just needs time. So it's that you need time in terms of doing business to business, or you can shorten the time by getting capital to be able to fast track that. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. You brought up another key issue, which was time, and in the case, we see that, I'm just going to bring up one of the quotes that they said. We think that if we have 80% chance of having 5 million, that's much more, that's a better outcome for us personally than having a 10% chance of having 1 billion. The extra cash above the 5 million is valuable, but the value decreases significantly with the time required to earn it. And so that's another question I'm going to throw out to the group, because you're saying we should move more and focus on with business to business, but are we going against not the key values, but what the founders want in terms of time? Because they're not really concerned with making as much money, because they think that the more time it takes to get that money, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So I've not really zeroed in on business to business. Sorry, I think we'll allow other people to speak. We're still exploring the pros and cons. So and this statement you said, I think I took note of it, because it's very key to the founders. And there are also, there are other aspects that they don't want to be so. There are other values that they portrayed in the case, is that they're not excited to be billionaires. They just want to do something they're excited about. That's cool also. So you have to juxtapose the two and be able to find a common ground. So maybe it's not to the other extreme of just getting funding and then leaving it go. Find a common ground. So I think I'm tilting towards, of course, there's the middle ground. Okay, but let me leave that part and open it up to other people.
Okay, then we can go to Timothy. What are your thoughts in terms of marketing and what was just brought up by Emmanuel?
Well, so the idea for me, I would have thought, since there are opportunities to scale up, and we see there's literally a clear path, just except for the personal aspirations of the founders themselves. We could actually try to explore those opportunities to see before we draw a final conclusion on what step they should follow. But we should also take into consideration certain things they are doing right now that could easen up the process should they want to expand, not sell, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So
What are some of those certain things that you're making reference to?
okay, we could just like in the agenda, you know, we wanted to look at their pricing strategy. We wanted to also look at their brand awareness and customer acquisition. Are there ways they could be more effective in those areas, which would have softened situations for them right now, which would have you know, given them more awareness and place them in a better position than they are now. So those are key issues also we should look try to look into, such that it will give us a clearer path towards making a decision that's forthcoming.
Okay, so then I'm gonna open up the floor to everyone, and what are your thoughts or suggestions in terms of what he just mentioned? Like, how can we attain customers or acquire customers? Sorry, and how can we position them in the market?
Well, I think the best answer should come from you, and then we will speak about it. So, how do you think we can? Because he obviously oversees marketing.
Okay.
What's the question again? Sorry. Because I think.
All right. Sorry. Maybe when I'm answering, you
Okay,
might
okay.
Okay.
get a winner.
Yeah.
So for the customers acquisition strategy,
Mm-hmm.
which relied heavily on the founders to acquire the customer, I think it's not sustainable. Definitely, it's
Mhm.
bringing strain already. So we have to find a way to either automate the process or level down so that we can allow some other. Right now we're dealing with businesses on the seed stage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Startups.
yeah, startups. So
Mhm.
we have to be able to attract other levels of businesses so that
Okay.
it will increase
Okay.
our customers.
But
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Go ahead, Asifa.
but I think we do not have enough features and the ability to work with larger companies for now. So I think a startup and medium-sized companies
Medium
will
scale,
be
yes,
fine
yes.
for now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of targeting the larger ones, we can steadily grow and reach to that level so that we could handle the larger companies as well.
So let me just make sure I understand. So you're saying that right now we're targeting startups, and you're saying we should shift towards bigger companies.
In addition,
Yeah.
yeah.
In addition, okay. And then I guess my next question is why?
Yeah, because right now we're being suffocated. We don't have a sustainable customer base, client base.
Mm-hmm.
That means our revenue stream is kind of strangulated because we don't have sufficient funds to run the business, especially now that we need to invest in certain things to better the software itself. We can't do that. One of the options is to open the doors for investors who will have total control and you know, they will give directives that we might not be able to adhere to.
Okay, so if I understand what you're saying, so you'd be leaning more towards a buyout then, based on what you said, because we don't have enough funds, because we need to invest money to develop certain things. So you'd be leaning more towards a buyout.
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but I want to say, in addition to what is he saying, I think we've gotten to like this mature stage in business where we've actually we've not reached the peak. I just want to say that we are like mature, like there's revenue that's coming in, even though it's looking at as if it's declining and all of that. But I think what he's trying to say is that rather than us focusing all our like sources of revenue on startups, why don't we like diversify to medium scale and all of that to prevent concentration risk and all of that? And I really do not think that is a bad idea. We could do like a preliminary survey and see how, like, enter into the market and like get questions and answers and feedback, and then see if this is actually feasible, if it's like sustainable, if we can do it. If it doesn't look like we can do it, then we would rather not. If the medium scale business is not looking like it's going to be profitable or like sustainable for us, then we would withdraw. So we are just doing like a preliminary testing at first, like pre entrance examination and all of that. So it's not like we would jump into the waters. We just like test, and if it's not, then we just go back in.
Scale back. Okay, so I would ask, I guess my next question would be, in terms of a timetable, what would we be looking at? Because we do know that time in terms of making money is an issue here. So what would be a feasible timetable to kind of test the waters and see if we can start catering to medium-sized businesses?
I think a year. Or
Yeah,
because
12 to 18 months should be sufficient time to see if we can actually secure more clientele from the medium-sized businesses, and then also test them. We're still navigating the learning curve. There's a lot to do, there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to deliver. So we still have to allow ourselves some time to kind of really grow and to explore the full potential of our product.
Okay, I'm going to redirect more so towards finances, because if we do want to test this out and see if medium-scale businesses can be potentially clients, is it feasible financially for us to take that risk? What are your thoughts, based on all of the information we have?
Well, so the point is the competitive edge. I don't know if 1 year, 18 months is good. We already have offers on ground. We don't know what the future holds. If you ask me, if sales roundup is giving good money, maybe we just take it and allow them deal with it, because there's still a lot of trainings, and they are big. What do you call them? Big operations that have more money that can take. I mean, this is replicatable, and time is of the essence, especially in the AI race. If they have money to pump into it, they can see results and they can copy this, and of course that is a major risk. We don't have all the time.
So are you saying we have like investors that, or are you saying like a buyout?
I'm really tilting towards a buyout. If what
a buyout.
Yes, if what sales roundup is giving is good, because yeah, I mean, look at what happened to DeepSeek, for example.
Yeah.
That's a very typical example. You don't know what tomorrow is going to be, and it can be the swiftest. I can bet you that there are other people that are also trying to replicate this in their own organization, whether it is Meta or it is Microsoft. Just like Zoom and Team, and then as soon as it goes up, every other person starts running the race. Yeah. They're going to copy your model, and they're going to beat you at the game, because they have more data. Like if Meta wants to, they already have the data of Facebook. They just put it into the machine. They will learn faster than you. You are looking for a B2B, trying to get 60 clients here and 20 clients there. You don't have the time. So you may not survive the competition, and you may lose out completely. If someone comes up and say, okay, we can do deal matching transactions and close deals faster. Yeah. So there are other options. Of course, you can try to do a hybrid, or do a B2B and then try to sell subscriptions. Try to, of course, teach you in terms of deal matching, so that the other aspect that you still need clients to do, you want to, so that the AI can also be able to match the deals, and then you take commissions. But it's time. And I think in the AI race, time is as valuable as.
Can we protect our resource with a patent?
With patent?
Yeah,
but when you're going to do a sellout, you'll also be selling. Of course, we already have a patent for that in terms of also, right? Yes. So I would go towards
So competition is not going to come such that messages are personalized, right? For now, at least in the next 20 years.
No, the point. I mean, your patency is your product, your name, but you won't stop another competitor from doing a similar thing with their own name.
Yeah.
So you understand, yeah. So you won't stop if I mean AI did not. Sam Altman did not say no other person should do chatbots. So one person somewhere else, and trust me, it's a very unstable and uncertain market.
Yeah.
So if you ask me if they have $100 million, take it. Look for something else that you're passionate about. Probably go chill out in the Caribbean for a while.
But I don't think that is a good option.
Oh, no problem.
Because that questions the value of the founders. Like they did not even want
Yes.
to take investments because they thought that they would lose their independence. Of
Yeah,
the,
their control.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
yes.
We're gonna touch on that later on in the
Okay.
meeting. I just want to shift towards Edwina because we did mention competitive advantage, and so how do you think we can maintain a competitive advantage with our product development and innovation?
Okay, so currently, I think we are growing organically. As in, we don't want to push in money or invest into the business, which is somehow not helping us. But when it comes to the employees, we need to attract and retain our employees, and we have competitors out there. And if we are not attracting employees and retaining our employees, we are likely to lose our employees to our competitors, which is also going to affect us in a way. I think what Emmanuel was saying, I kind of relate to him because I feel if we want to expand, then we should be ready to invest into the business. Because right now, as it stands now, there are competitors out there, and we have to attract and retain our employees. And apart from that, if we are thinking of expanding, I think right now it looks like decision making is towards the founders only. So if we need to expand, I think we also need something like a middle management,
Okay.
employee sort of something.
So then you would be leaning towards buyout, if I'm
Yeah.
understanding what you're saying
Yes.
correctly? Okay. Asifa, you had something to say, sorry.
No, I was touching on his point. Like, if we go for buyout, then I think that's the end of it.
But yeah, of the business,
So-
I actually do not support that one. Yeah.
So I want to respond to that. I mean, there are other initiatives.
Yeah.
There are 3 initiatives, and you can do a hybrid. You can do, of course, maintain your B2B, revenue, subscription revenue, deal commissions, and then licensing agreements. You probably, so if you combine the 3, yes, you can still keep your baby and maybe keep your dream.
What do you mean hybrid?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Three of them.
combining basically the B2B
Yeah.
and the financial.
Oh, combining all
okay,
3 options.
okay.
Yes, not the sellout in this case.
Sorry,
So
not the buyout,
combining
sorry.
Not the
the two,
buyout.
not the buyout. So
Yeah.
you can combine the 2 and do a hybrid. And then
Okay.
I think I like the licensing agreement part
Mm.
because then you can propose to other bigger companies. But at least you still get a commission for people using your. At least they don't have to start from the scratch.
Mm.
So
Okay.
you can. That is a very viable part.
Mm.
I mean, you still keep control, you still make more money, you still expand.
Yeah.
Maybe that is better. But if you ask me, because that also is still doesn't stop other competitors from developing theirs.
Yeah,
It
true.
doesn't.
But then they have the advantage of first entrance. So first entrance is in the sense of crafting personalized messages.
In the AI race, I think it's a bit different. Yes, there is the part of first entrance. I mean, we're talking about 2021 up till now. That's some years.
Yeah.
And other people may also be testing this. In fact, the people he has marketed to that, like, oh, this is a game-changing stuff. Oh, what you've done is something that takes years to close in business and in banking. So trust me, there are people who are presently working on it. And the next thing you see, like, oh, the answer is they've been able to have a breakthrough. So it's a very difficult decision, and it's a complex one. Well, they can lose everything if someone shows up with other aspects of outreach and deal matching that they are still building gradually. So it's not a one-sided thing, actually.
Well, okay. So what do you think about mergers instead of licensing agreement, because I really do not see a difference between licensing agreement and a buyout, because in licensing our employees would obviously lose their jobs and all of that, because hold on, and then and then in the licensing I will, okay, maybe we would discuss like what percentage we
Exactly.
control and all of that and all of that. Yes, if it's that one, then it is okay. But I was actually thinking about merging with other competitors, and or I would have said like acquiring, but we actually do not have the capital to acquire. So if you're saying a licensing agreement, it would be the one that would protect our interests and the shareholders, the stakeholders like employees and all of that, and our existing customers.
So maybe just to add to that, to allow other people to speak. Right now, the B2B is almost like what you just said,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
collaboration, because they operate within businesses.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's already being done.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, there is no easy part, and the most difficult part is the uncertainty of what tomorrow holds, especially regards to competitive advantage. And because it's about machine learning, you don't hold monopoly. And there are people with larger data. You are just sourcing data from LinkedIn and getting small startups that people probably are still trying to understand their customer base. So you don't have the advantage there, especially if you put that vis-a-vis other bigger corporations with already established social media platforms with tons of data that they can use to train their machines, because that's what it boils down to when it comes to AI.
So you are saying a licensing agreement is more, a licensing like deal and all of that is more advantageous to us than a merger with an existing competitor that is like very big, very known.
So right
And
now
all of
they're
them.
already doing a merge. They operate within businesses.
Mhm.
So the licensing, it's a kind of the merger you're talking about. So you take my name. So if Microsoft, for example, wants to, they want to do something in relation to this, we give them what we have done. Then they train. Then that's like the partnership. So
Okay.
it's still OTTO, but it's a part of
Something.
Microsoft. So
Okay.
you understand. So
Yeah.
that's like the licensing aspect.
Okay.
Well, that seems to be like the way to go. You won't have all the control, you won't have all the money, but at least you're not losing out completely. So, together with all the things you're still doing, though. Of course, the B2B and the financial services.
Okay.
Are there any other thoughts on what we just discussed? Licensing versus mergers? Keeping in mind that we don't necessarily want to keep the company forever. We do want to sell it at some point.
Yeah. Just sell it. For me.
He is obviously a finance person and all of that, but like we, the board that are sitting here, are not like the only ones in this company. We have employees that depend on us, like for their income and all of that. So naturally, yes, we are like short on capital and all of that, but I'm just saying any strategy we would be aligning with and all of that should not lead to the end of the company. So a licensing deal is actually like fine and all of that.
I'm not sure I understand what you
So
mean by the
I-
end of the company.
Okay, like you're saying, a buyout, something like that.
Yeah.
And all of that. Yeah. So I was just trying to say like we could do this licensing stuff, and then in the agreement we could indicate, oh, this and this and this and this and this and that still gives us control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just what I'm saying. So
Okay, to add to what she was saying, Susan was saying, I agree with what she was saying, but I think we also have to think about investing a little into it, because she spoke about employees, we not losing our employees. Now here's the case that we are not ready to pump money into the business. Our employees, yes, are there, but we need to train them if we are thinking of expanding. We need to have some packages for them, like to motivate them. If not, our competitors could also come for them. So we'll just be there, and then by the time we realize we are losing our employees also to our competitors. So I think that should also be something we have to look at.
Okay. So then, let's say we were to move the route of licensing. Is that enough to feasibly sustain us for a couple of years to then sell? Do we think? Because ultimately we're trying, like, we want to keep the business for a little bit and then sell it at its maximum value, right? So we need to think of ways of how in the short term we can allow it to grow to then sell. Like we're not having a long-term mindset here.
Okay, so in the short term, here, grow and sell.
Yes.
Okay, and then in the long term.
Well, there is no long term because ultimately we want to sell the company.
Yeah, okay, so I'm actually like, I am with you on the growing in the short term. I don't know if I am with you in the selling afterwards and all of that, but I mean, in the short
I think that's
term.
their plan, right?
That's their plan.
their
That's what they want to
ultimate
do.
Yeah,
plan
so
for
if you say
us.
short term, do you mean like a year or like a year to 3 years? Like I have something I
Let's
need to
say
say.
A couple of years.
12 to
Okay.
18 months.
Oh.
Or a couple of years?
I think so. Is
I
that what?
think short term is a year. Medium term or something like that. It's like,
No, a couple
That
of years.
It's
So-
1 to 3 years.
okay,
Yeah.
so let's say 1 to 3 years, yeah. So yes, I am actually like I agree with growing the business and all of that, like seeing how far we can go in those 3 years. And I also wanted to speak about how we can um, grow our competitive advantage within 3 years. Is that fine, or should I?
Yes,
like
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Is that within the context of us licensing?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, so like we've all spoken here, so everybody, all of us can see that our key strength is actually utilizing the AI driven personalization of messages and all of that, because like a lot of users don't like auto generated messages. So to enhance our competitive advantage, I'm suggesting we use natural language processing. Is one of these technological tools that generates customized emails. So it will look as if you're actually speaking to that person, and yes, and then another thing is to develop AI tools that analyze previous like patterns. So Emmanuel, like you spoke about like the AI and all of that. So I was trying to say, okay, so if we can get AI tools that can analyze previous messages and use that to like optimize and send personalized messages and like structure our content, we'll be able to improve competitive advantage through deliverability and like spam protection. So we are trying to do everything we can to ensure that we are not blacklisted by internet service providers. And then also I think another way to do this to improve our competitive advantage is also to invest in building robust APIs that allows for easy plug and play integration, like Salesforce, Zoho CRM and all of that. And then I think finally, since we want to exist in 3 years and continue to grow, I think we should shift from the current pricing models to revenue sharing models. So in this context, I'm saying OTTO receives a percentage of deals closed instead of meetings booked. I saw that one in the case. So instead of us receiving a percentage of the meetings booked, we receive a percentage of deals that were closed. So by implementing all of this
Sorry,
strategy,
could you go over that again? So we're receiving a percentage of what?
so
Deals.
as it is presently, we receive a percentage of meetings booked. So I'm saying instead of that, let's receive a percentage of deals closed. So meetings booked does not like translate to closing of a deal. So yeah, and then okay, so yeah, so finally by implementing these strategies, OTTO can solidify our competitive advantage in the AI driven sales outreach. So we can do all of this in 3 years while trying to grow and remain profitable. We can do all of this to enhance our competitive advantage, and we can do all of this while having it at the back of our mind that it will eventually lead to a buyout.
So I'm gonna open the floor. What are you guys' thoughts on some of the strategies she just brought up?
I think for, like the first one she mentioned, the human language.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
already
already
implemented.
implemented.
We already said that.
we
Yeah,
already
true.
did that.
Yeah.
Um,
I also spoke about using AI tools to analyze previous email patterns so that the AI, obviously, that's what you said. I was just really, yeah, you were saying
That means like to automate the personalization or something of that nature.
yeah, obviously, it will still be personalized, but like Egop was saying that AI actually like sources from different and all of that. Yeah,
That's
so
what
I was
it
just like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, aside from the AI tools like sourcing from different database, it could also source from previous messages that we have sent to this particular set of businesses and all of that, and doing it that way would improve deliverability and ensure that we are not blacklisted by internet service providers. I think that's the second thing I said. And then the last one was also speaking about building robust APIs that allows for seamless integration, like Salesforce and HubSpot. That's our competitor. So we could engage with IT consultants to see how we can build seamless integration so that we can gain competitive advantage through this.
So then my next question to you would be, if we're engaging with consultants, all of that requires money that we are short on.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
then brings me back to my initial question,
Yeah.
shouldn't we be opting more towards a buyout? Like, so all of these solutions are great, and I agree. Thing is, if we are gonna implement them, we need to find ways to then generate funds to support it.
Okay. So I'm going to ask us back. So the licensing agreement, when does this come into play? Like, if we can answer this, then I would have an answer to your question. Does this come into play at the beginning of these 3 years that we're talking about? Is it that at the end, at the beginning, we would like get a license and have like a control, like maybe like 40% control and all of that, and then 60% to the whoever is the person, and then we manage all of this in the 3 years, and then eventually we buy out.
From what I understood of the licensing would be, if we decided to go the business to business route, we would then implement licensing. That's what I understood,
Yeah.
unless
Okay.
I understood something wrong.
Manu, yeah, is that what that means?
I mean, whatever strategy we settle on, you can make that proposal right away.
Yeah.
It starts counting.
Regardless. Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah. But I picked some of the points in terms of the consultancy.
Yeah.
So the one I would suggest is, I mean, also can offer consultations to other companies who are having outbound sourcing issues based on their insights in our tools. They're already doing that, so you can expand the market in terms of consultancy to bring in more money. They can also charge fees. For now, they're talking about not just outreach. You can also talk about deal lead lead generations and even deal matching. So those are other potential aspects that also as an AI can be trained to handle.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so-
Deborah, so like you said, you were asking me if we could do consultant. Like I said, so we are all up about improving competitive advantage, getting like a sustainable, even if it's temporary, like 3 years and all of that, until I would think the amount we would spend on getting a consultant or like 2 consultants will not be. It's not very expensive. I think we can afford it.
No.
Where do
and
we
that's
get
what-
it from?
This is just like, okay, if you guys, I don't know. I was just
No,
like,
carry
because
on. But
yeah,
just be
because
strategic about
I-
where do we get it
I am-
from? Do
I'm-
we invite investors now into this whole?
No, but when you talk about
if,
consulting,
hold
what do you
on.
mean?
Yeah, okay. So we were talking about Okay, so I mentioned yes, beginning of so yeah, so I'm trying to say that we want to enhance our competitive advantage, and I already listed some strategies that we could do. So I was speaking about like investing in APIs and all of that, and I'm getting consultants to help us build our APIs to prevent us from being blacklisted by internet service providers as like spam messages and all of that. And I'm like, if it's 1 to 3 years and we already know like the end in mind, I don't think it will cost us to just try one consultant or 2 consultants.
So the question is,
The
Yeah,
sorry,
go
the
on.
consultant itself I don't think would be expensive. It's the implementation of the API. Like
Okay.
in the grand scheme of things, like it's a chunk of change.
Okay.
So I guess I'm not against it. I'm just saying, is it worth it? Does it outweigh just having a buyout, getting funds, and leaving right away? Because it seems to be like the consensus of our meeting is we're falling either on a buyout or
Oh,
business to business.
Okay, so basically, okay, I guess you guys have tried all you could to convince me. Because no,
it's not
like
we are
no, like
convincing
no,
you.
okay, but like hold on. Truthfully speaking, the business is actually short on capital, and like we are trying to get capital like everywhere and all of that, but like there's no. So I understand. I just okay. So in conclusion, yeah, from my side, yeah, I was just saying that whatever we like finally decide on should just should think about like should have, even if it's a licensing agreement and all of that, should position us in a I don't know how to call it, an advantageous position, yeah, something like that.
Well, for me, I think we should still prioritize the B2B because there's an opportunity of building the company, especially building the company's valuation within the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months before we can sell. We can sell now. We are going to sell, but we can do something before we sell. So there's an opportunity to, if we prioritize B2B, we could, what's it called? We can also form strategic alliances with and partnerships with bigger companies. Nobody is saying we have to deal only with mid-sized companies and small-sized companies. So, like the licensing agreements and things like that, we can enter some strategic partnerships with larger companies, such that we license out and then increase our revenue base, increase the company's valuation before we think of selling, so that we can comfortably go to the Bahamas and relax.
I would have a follow-up question for you then. Somebody brought up, I think it was you, the idea of having a hybrid. And what are your thoughts on that? Or do you think we should solely focus, well, I guess I'm asking everyone, if we could solely focus on the business to business? Or have some kind of a hybrid business to business and the financial sector?
The financial sector will be what part, sorry?
So that was one of the options that they were considering, was either full out buyout, focus on the business to business, or focus on, I guess, their clients in the financial sector. Let me find it here.
Yeah. But in your buyout mode, in your hybrid model, what were you actually referring to?
so we maintain
B2B.
the B2B, of course, to keep autonomy, especially with the sales roundup. We also integrate other monetization aspects like deal generation or deal sourcing, so we can charge for that. Okay, so that can monetize those processes. We already have that. And then I think she was talking about the API and CRM basis. So we can explore. There are opportunities there. There are many companies that already have like the CRM basis that we can work with.
Yeah.
It's also part of the monetization and financial services that we can offer. There are other things we can do in the process. Now, that will speak to why the hybrid strategy, it may be more advantageous than the sellout strategy, of course, because you can expand to other aspects like deal matching. Just be beyond the leads and the sourcing. You can now talk about, okay, help with the deal matching, and that cannot come when it's sold out completely. So there are other potentials. Talking about managing it for a while and then selling it later. Those are other aspects that we can build capacity and learning on, and then it can increase the value. So instead of selling for 100 million, we can sell for something more substantial. Yeah.
Thoughts?
I also think the hybrid model
Sounds
better
good.
for
Thank you very
now
much.
than just selling it without
Yeah, so there's still other aspects of
it's
the
very
initiative. I mean, the business that is developing, and I like the fact that you said they have the first mover advantage. So they have other aspects, having conquered this, that they can think into. And yeah, so I think the hybrid may be the way to go.
So that means they should open up doors for investors to come in now.
Yeah, through licensing. Yeah, through licensing, they can get more money. They can have access to the resources of those companies. So, of course, reach out if you want. And talking about that in specific terms in terms of licensing, of course, with the sales roundup that they're working with, maybe I would say they reach out to Alphabet in terms of Google. They have a massive database now because they control the Gmails, for example. You will not be going into spam. They can prioritize their mails internally, and then people get their mails directly into their inboxes. Yes, so they can explore that, especially in the short term, with the results they have with sales roundup.
Okay, but then control also, once you allow funds to come in, or funds.
So in
Those
this case,
licensing agreements,
in this
so
case
it
of
limits
licensing,
your-
they keep autonomy.
Yeah.
They keep complete autonomy?
Yeah, but they will keep substantial autonomy.
Not
Because
complete.
they will
Not
keep
complete.
substantial because of course they are using your name. You already secured the IP, so if you like licensing, they will use OTTO. So you understand. So that's subject to
So
them.
no concessions on the part of OTTO? There should be some
No,
concessions.
there will be, of course, in terms of commissions. Alphabet may say, okay, they will take more commission, but at this stage, you are the underdog, so you're smaller. Against them being your rival, I think you would choose to give them your license.
Okay.
So it's a pros and cons.
Well, that is
So,
clear to me.
can I conclude that we're all in agreement for a hybrid model?
Yes.
Right? So let's just summarize some of the points. So we're gonna go for a hybrid model with strategic alliances. You mentioned Alphabet.
We're still keeping sales roundup.
We're keeping the sales roundup.
And everybody in between.
The Alphabet one is very good because we want to also enhance the prevention of a lot of spam mails.
Mhm.
So we believe that because Gmail is a major provider in terms of that platform, so they can do something about, because not everybody check their spam mail. So if we can reduce our messaging in terms of what's it called now? Sorry, sourcing and lead generation. If we can reduce the messages from going into spam, I think we can have more deals.
Okay. That also touches on not being blacklisted, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay. Then somebody also had brought up shifting the pricing models. Are we going to be implementing that with the hybrid model or not?
Well,
So it was shifting from whatever it is now to percentage of deals closed.
close there.
I think they're already utilizing the percentage of deals closed, right?
No, they are currently doing this percentage of meetings booked.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
obviously doesn't translate to profitability or anything. So instead of that, they should shift the percentage of deals closed.
They should add, you mean?
They should add.
Yeah, add.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
That's
add.
part of the
Yes, add.
monetization.
Yeah, yes, add.
Okay, so we're gonna be implementing that, correct?
Yes.
And then, in terms of the licensing, we'd be licensing with, what's the word I'm
Sales
looking
rep.
for? Medium-sized companies, is that what it was, right?
Larger companies instead.
Yeah,
Larger companies.
I mean, because that achieves two things for us: the blacklisting stuff, if we can overcome that with people who already provide the service. So.
All right, okay, so then, I think we've come to a conclusion then, we've found our solution. Thank you for all your contributions, guys. Great meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Celia.